This vast slum is a maze of wooden shacks standing on stilts, driven into polluted water. Hundreds of thousands of people live here without solid ground, without clean water, without an official power grid, and without a waste disposal system. Daily life, from eating and trading to basic household activities, takes place above the lagoon, while the wooden supports beneath slowly decay. Residents constantly face disease, flooding, and harsh sanitary conditions. Even worse, many families live with the fear that their homes could be destroyed at any time because Makoko is viewed as an obstacle to the expensive
Makoko, Nigeria.
Stone fortress in the Atlantic, where people face some of the harshest winter superstorms in the United States.
Stones.
From a distance, the island looks like a lonely block of rock rising from the sea, with high cliffs and a year-round community of fewer than 60 residents. The wooden houses here are built to take the direct force of extreme nor'easters, when winds carry hail, heavy snow, and massive waves against the shore. Every winter, the island can become a prison at sea, cutting off communication and supplies from the mainland for days.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome. Welcome in, guys.
With no bridge to the mainland, access depends on boats.
Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Rough seas. To keep their homes and livelihood, residents still go lobster fishing during the most dangerous months, where capsizing or falling into freezing water can cost them their lives. Tomorrow is where
Nasikia
thousands of
goti
people
la
continue to build homes
la mguu wa
on the
kuume
edge
au
of the
kushoto
earth,
inanisumbua
despite
sana.
toxic fumes and seismic activity beneath their feet. Located at an elevation of more than 2,200 meters, the village sits on the rim of the Tenga caldera and looks directly down at Bromo, one of the world's most active volcanoes.
Haya maziwa.
Whenever Bromo awakens, hot rocks, ash clouds, and sulfur gases can spread directly across the entire settlement.
Nichemshe kidogo yenyewe.
Residents do not live beside an ordinary mountain, but beside a smoking machine, where they may be forced to evacuate in the middle of the night if toxic gas reaches deadly levels. Yet after repeated evacuations caused by eruptions over the past
Red
few
Cross.
decades, people still return to repair and reinforce their homes rather than leave. Despite its small size, Sonora welcomes hundreds of thousands of visitors each year and generates significant income
Kamoto
for
kadogo.
East Java.
Sababu ipate nini? Jamani, wote jana mji mlikuja wa kwanza, tena mwingine wa kwanza anakuja, mwingine mmoja anakuja,
What if your home were mostly soft
wawili tu.
and a single rainstorm could make it melt away? Sea-Rock Oasis lies about 19 meters below sea level, locked between the Great Sand Sea and desert heat that can reach 50 degrees Celsius. To survive, the Sea-Rock people mix mud with salt blocks taken from nearby salt lakes, creating a material that hardens like stone and provides strong natural insulation. But water is its fatal weakness because prolonged rain can soften the walls and cause an entire house or fortress to collapse. Around the oasis,
Ricardo, welcome. What's up, Ricardo? What's up? Welcome. Nice to see you, brother. How are you?
but offering no
How are you, my friend? Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, my brother, for support. Thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
and this harsh environment itself to develop tourism and sustain life in the desert. Yamal Nenet's camps are among the most resilient mobile homes on Earth, built directly on the cracked ice of Siberia.
Mbona watu kingaliki tu wawili hawajakuja vile kisi wanakujaga wengi.
Across this barren tundra, the Nenets live in skin-covered chum tents while herding thousands of reindeer.
Shiro wangu, nitakula hii yako hii. On.
To survive the cold, they use the hides of the very animals that sustain them to wrap their homes.
On. Oh, wanatumia ngozi.
Winter here is long, with temperatures often falling to minus 50 degrees Celsius, along with violent blizzards and darkness lasting for months.
Unasikia huko? Baridi huko ni kawaida. Alafu huko hapa
Yet the
kwenu
most extreme part
nasema
is that
baridi.
their homes do
Baridi.
not take root
Uko baridi Shiro wangu. Uko fungua joto. Fungua joto.
No matter how harsh the weather becomes, the Nenets must dismantle their tents, load them onto sledges, and migrate thousands of kilometers each year across cracked ice to find moss.
Gorete yako nani? Mtoame nani? Wa immigration. Gorete. Uko wento wa immigration. Gorete uko wento wa migration.
Is the wettest place on Earth, where the sky collapses onto people's homes through non-stop rain lasting for 6 months. in the Khasi Hills, the village receives nearly 12,000 millimeters of rainfall each year, dozens of times higher than many ordinary regions. Relentless rain hides the sun for months, turning water into a force that erodes hillsides, rots materials, and covers daily life with noise and heavy grey sky.
Uliangalia video? Uliangalia?
Instead of umbrellas or raincoats that strong winds can tear apart, residents weave bamboo and grass rain shields shaped like giant turtle shells to cover their bodies. Humidity stays close to 100%, causing wooden and metal bridges to rot, rust, or be swept away by floods. To keep away home, the Khasi people train the living roots of rubber fig trees for decades into root bridges that cling across violent streams.
A stream. Agora eu agora apenas com stream, não é? O stream. Streaming.
Would you dare live in a house where your bedroom wall is also the edge of a 50-meter drop?
Não, nitataka kuwa hapo hivyo na kutoka huko chini tunakufa.
Castelfollet de la Roca clings to the top of a narrow basalt cliff nearly 1 kilometer long, creating one of the most dramatic settlements in Catalonia. From a distance, the houses appear to grow directly out of the vertical rock face, suspended above the landscape with open air stretching behind them.
Sharon,
What makes this even more precarious is that the entire foundation of the village is being slowly eroded by 2 rivers flowing below. Homes along the cliff edge have no backyard, no walkway, and no protective fence, because the outer wall itself marks the edge of the abyss.
Sharon, do they know people?
The rocky platform is so narrow that at its tightest point, there is only enough space for 2 rows of houses facing a tiny street, leaving residents confined within this suspended strip of land.
Ndo masaa ya kingaliki dakika 13.
Agbogbloshie is the largest electronic waste dump on Earth, where homes are built among millions of discarded computers and televisions from around the world. Tens of thousands of poor migrants live in makeshift metal shacks on land containing enough lead to cause permanent damage to the human nervous system. Every day, toxic substances from millions of tons of discarded phones, refrigerators, and electronic devices continue leaking into the surrounding environment. The Korla Lagoon, flowing through the settlement, has become a thick black swamp polluted by oil, chemicals, and human waste.
Kemikali.
To earn a living, residents burn electrical cables and plastic waste to recover copper and aluminum, filling the air with smoke containing lead, mercury, and dioxins. Here, the soil, water, and air are all slowly consuming the lives of the people forced to call this toxic landscape home. Welcome to the roof of Europe, where people did not build homes for comfort, but built stone fortresses for survival. At an elevation of 2,100 meters, Ushguli sits among rugged mountains where winter and isolation shape the way people live. The houses here are stone towers rising 3 to 5 stories high, strong enough to shelter entire families when the weather turns dangerous.
Welcome! Welcome guys, welcome to my YouTube channel guys.
Steep slopes, their tapered forms help split and deflect powerful avalanches. Six months of winter turn the green grasslands into a white desert, with snow reaching 2 to 3 meters deep, burying the roads and cutting the village off from the outside world. To reach Ushguli, travelers must cross the narrow and steep Iguri Gorge, where one small mistake can send people into the abyss. Ganvier is a city without a single piece of dry land, where you cannot step outside your home without a boat. It is the largest lake village in Africa, home to bamboo, wooden, and thatched huts built on stilts driven deep into the lake bed. Several kilometers from shore, residents accept the life suspended above the water, turning the harshness of the environment into a shield for their freedom. Yet that safety is always fragile, because every few decades, the entire stilt foundation of a house must be replaced underwater. If the owner neglects it, the home can collapse and throw the whole family into deep water in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
Though isolated on the lake, Ganvier produces thousands of tons of fish each year, feeding its own community and supplying food to cities on the mainland. How would you live if your home and even the ground beneath your feet were made of dry grass and could sink to the bottom of the lake at any moment? The Euro's floating islands are among the strangest and most fragile settlements on Earth, where the islands are not natural land or stone, but are woven by hand from millions of dried Tortorial roots. These islands are anchored to the lake bed with ropes and wooden stakes, but they are never truly fixed in place. When danger comes from the mainland, the Euros people can cut the anchor ropes and use paddles to push the entire island, including homes and livestock, deep into the marshes.
Niangalie kwanza Shiro. Nikisie kwa mbali. Like
In return,
welcome
they build
guys.
a giant grass mat suspended over freezing water.
Watu wanaanza kukusanyika, ndo watu watatu wanaingia.
Because the building material has an expiration date, laying the foundation here becomes a lifelong cycle of exhausting labor.
Watu wanaanza
What would
kuja.
you do if you had only 2 hours to leave your entire home behind forever because of a nuclear explosion? Pripyat is the world's largest ghost city, once home to the workers and families serving the Chernobyl nuclear power plant before the disaster of 1986
Welcome guys.
occurred. In a single afternoon, more than 50,000 people were forced to abandon their homes as radiation spread across the city. From the outside, the apartment blocks still look almost intact, but inside is an environment that can damage DNA, cause cancer, and prevent safe human settlement for tens.
Thank you
of
so much for
thousands
like.
of years.
Thank you. Please guys, support me for like guys.
Yet a few hundred elderly people have secretly returned to these contaminated homes.
Show love guys. Show love guys for likes.
With no electricity.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you so much.
Care, they accept life inside a dead zone because they want to end their lives in their own homeland. Monsanto is where people and stone must squeeze together, fighting for every square meter of living space. This ancient village is famous for houses built between, beneath, and even inside massive granite boulders. Instead of leveling the ground, residents used the gaps between stones weighing hundreds to thousands of tons and inserted their homes into them. Some boulders serve directly as roofs, walls, or floors, making the line between building and mountain almost disappear. Because Monsanto sits on a steep hillside, scattered with giant rocks, vehicles cannot reach many doorways, while bricks, furniture, and even medical emergencies must pass through narrow, slippery stone alleys. Living in homes fused with natural rock also means expansion is nearly impossible because the wall you need to remove may be a gigantic granite boulder. 150 residents, Itakotuanit is considered the most isolated and hardest to reach settlement on Earth. Trapped between the world's largest fjord system and the vast wilderness of Northeast Greenland National Park, the community remains locked in by sea ice for 9 months every year. In this unusual town, even a trip to buy food depends on a supply ship that arrives only twice a year. As a result, the local economy and daily survival depend entirely on hunting across the frozen landscape. Residents travel dozens of kilometers by dog sled over sea ice that can crack apart at any moment just to bring food back home. As the ice melts 3 times faster than the global average, the people here are simply trying to hold on to nature's last fragile layer of sea ice. Is a city built from greed and desperation, where the line between getting rich and losing your life can sometimes be only one night of sleep away. Known as hell above the clouds, it holds the record as the highest permanent settlement on Earth, standing in the Andes at 5,100 meters above sea level. In reality, the Rinconada is a vast illegal gold mining camp, drawing some of the most desperate people in search of a chance to change their lives. Worse still, more than 50,000 people live packed together without sewers, without clean water, surrounded by waste and poisoned by mercury fumes from handmade gold furnaces. The gold burning process often happens inside or beside the huts, forcing entire families to breathe this deadly neurotoxic gas every day. You are looking at ancient skyscrapers built entirely from mud on a rock that could collapse at any moment. Cave Al-Jazir stands alone in Yemen's Valley of Death, where people did not choose flat ground, but carried thousands of tons of mud up onto a precarious rock to build their homes. These structures rise 5 to 7 stories high, looking from a distance like an island lost in a sea of desert sand and stone. That position leaves the village almost cut off from the outside world, while the line between a warm home and the bottom of the cliff is only one step away. Although Yemen is dry and hot, rare rainstorms can still erode the mud walls. After each rainfall, residents must plaster their homes again, or the entire high-rise structure can soften and collapse into the abyss. Stromboli is the lighthouse of the Mediterranean, where the light does not come from land, but from lava erupting for 2,000 years. In reality, the entire island is only the summit of a massive volcano rising from beneath the sea. Unlike many volcanoes that build up pressure before erupting violently, Stromboli works like a constant pressure release valve. Every 15 to 20 minutes, the crater growls and throws glowing red lava, ash, and hot rocks into the sky. At the foot of this sleepless monster, about 500 people still build homes in 2 small villages. Every day, they work, eat, and fall asleep close to the volcanic slope, surrounded by thunder like explosions and red lava fireworks overhead. Looks like a giant termite mound, yet inside those stone columns, a community has survived for more than 700 years. Set in the mountains of East Azerbaijan province, the village is surrounded by hundreds of cone-shaped rock formations created from the ash and lava of Mount Sahan thousands of years ago. To escape attacks by the Mongol army, people fled into these mountains and chose the hardened volcanic rock itself as their refuge. Instead of building houses on the surface, they carved deep into the stone, creating small chambers that gradually became multi-story homes. At an elevation of more than 2,200 meters, Candovan
Atasema hizi video
endures
hapa ni video tulishuti hapo
below 0
kwa
degrees Celsius and snowstorms that can last
ana
for
mashine
months.
kweli ya kukamulia maziwa.
Yet the porous
Na hakulaki
volcanic rock
karanga.
acts as natural insulation, keeping homes warm during winter and cool throughout the summer. Karia is a town where the ground can crack open at any moment and swallow an entire house into the fire below. Once one of Asia's richest coal-producing regions, this vast mining area has become one of the harshest places to live after decades of poor management. underground
Unawasha
coal fires
huko.
have burned continuously for more than 100 years, hollowing out the earth and releasing thick clouds of toxic smoke through the surface. Tens of thousands of people still live directly above this giant furnace, where floor
Unaona kwenye kunaishi
temperatures
watu
can
huko.
reach 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. Even though staying means a slow
Naisha hivi watu wako nakuja mmoja, wawili, watatu.
because their only source
Thank you so much guys.
comes from collecting coal.
See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for support. Thank you guys. Bye bye.